Come on, there it is. You guys should be able to see me in there. Red, orange, and yellow guy. So just like Matthew said, we're looking for those cold spots. So me being the red, orange, and yellow guy in there, that means I'm the hottest thing inside the frame. Sorry, fellas, but that's just how this is going to work tonight. Yep, works every time. Bridal parties, by the way, that really kills them, just so you know.
They just got engaged.
Oh, congratulations. See there, you're celebrating your new life together by looking for dead people. That's great. Love it. So cold spots are going to be blue and black. I want them to either take shape or to start moving on their own. When I say take shape, I want a head, shoulders, moving arms, and legs. That's what we've caught with this guy in the past. Hopefully, we're going to capture with that again. Now, I love to give you guys stats about what you guys are going to be using. This is not a TV show, and I am not a YouTuber, okay? So I capture 4 to 5 pieces on this guy per year that I would put my stamp of approval on that it was 110% paranormal, not 4 to 5 pieces per episode, okay? So again, love to give you guys the stats. However, if we're not recording, we're not going to capture. I also have this set up where there's a blue dot bouncing around the screen. The blue dot is there to show you the coldest spot in the frame at that particular moment. It's about 75 degrees out here ambient for us, and I look for 15 plus degree temperature drops. That blue dot, when I get excited, is going to be 60 degrees and colder. So again, I want to make sure it's not a sign, a can on the ground, glass. You guys are seeing the point. So with this one, Mason, I'm actually going to go over to you. A couple of parked cars in here tonight, which is odd that it's not completely full for a Saturday. So I'll take it as a win. But at the same time, this is a parking lot. So just be mindful of your surroundings, and I'm going to tell you why we're here, and then basically give you the history, and then we're all going to spread out. And I'm going to do like 1 or 2 round robins with everybody and kind of see what's going on with your devices, take a few notes, and then I'll regroup us to show you what the answers and how they all tie together. Reason being is because communication devices, this is where I start withholding information on purpose. I will not be giving you questions here like what color was George Washington's white horse, like what we did over there with the big red barn. You will be getting the answers from your communication devices, and those answers can go anywhere. If Lauren's asking questions, it can go to a spirit box, the audio from a camera. You guys see the point. It can go literally anywhere. So even if there were 2 of you here tonight, we would have at least 2 communication devices and a camera, just to make sure it can go wherever it needs to go. So where are you? You're in a parking lot. Like I said, congrats, you made it. I told you, I'd take you to weird spots. This place used to be the Eliza and Charles Pinckney mansion. Their mansion sat in the front of this space, facing East Bay Street. Eliza's garden was lined up with 5 Church Restaurant, came all the way across, and we are standing in the servants and slave quarters for the home. That's the layout of the land. So who the hell were these people? Yes.
So about 30 seconds ago, I heard specifically the word freedom. I didn't think it was relevant at that time.
This is why you'll tell me all the silly things that you're hearing.
Okay.
So I'll be writing down freedom. Let's see what else we can go on with. However, anything dealing with the slaves, there are no records. I cannot give you any of it, other than the fact that they did exist. That's it. So I'll take the word freedom. We'll see what else comes up. Now, Charles and Eliza had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 Chucks in case nobody was paying attention. The son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. It's a big deal for us, but I hate politics more than all of you combined, especially this year. So, adults get the point. And by the way, the son and the nephew were, being signers of the Constitution. I give them that recognition, and we literally move on. Because if I don't give them that recognition, they will do it for me in a nasty manner through a spirit box. Like, hey, why didn't you recognize me? Kind of stuff. So I just do it, and we move on. By the way, with there being 3 Chucks, now you guys fully understand why we look for secondary clues. In the event that the name Charles shows up, we need to know which one it is, so we know how to address them. They are 3 different men. So moving forward, we're going to talk about Eliza. Much better history anyway, other than signing a document. Now, Eliza married Charles at a young age according to today's standards. I say it slowly because if you're going to ask her how old she was when she got married, do not expect numbers from colonial days when young ladies got married at the age of 12 and 14. Think of today's standards because the husband was over double her age. It's kind of a creepy age gap then, creepy age gap now. Sometimes I have to look at the couples in front of me, make sure we don't have that age gap standing in front of me because yes, it's happened before, foot and mouth. You guys got the point. Next. Now, she married him because her father was over in England. Dad thinks he's dying. He's trying to bring all of his kids home one last time. Eliza didn't believe he was dying, so she stayed put right here, got married. It is 1744. You do not get married in that particular year to earn a green card. We are not a country yet. She married this guy out of true love. This is a true love story, guys. Nothing horrific about this location. It is a place of respect. Moving on. She was correct. Dad did not die right away, and instead he starts sending her gifts from England, right to where you're standing. One of those gifts happens to be the plant seeds of indigo. That is a plant that makes blue dye, that makes your blue jeans blue. That's how we use it today. So, Eliza, when she got her seeds, no idea what to do with it, had to learn from her servants and slaves how to keep it going. It's not always hot here. She had to learn how to make the dye, then moved it to a cash crop, got a hold of Dad and told him the rice plantations were going downhill in price. they were going to make a killing with the indigo. She was right. We now have an international businesswoman during colonial times, something absolutely unheard of. Now, that's the boring business stuff of Eliza. Let's get into the weird shit, because that's why you guys showed up. Now, what's going to happen with every person with a communication device, you're going to get a set of focus questions. You can either focus on it or say them out loud. There is no right or wrong way to do it. I am here pretty much every night. She already knows what you're going to ask. If you go rogue and you ask your own questions, be respectful. No yes, no questions. Do not ask about her children. I will reveal that before we leave the space. So we're going to start off with the two of you because you have the same type of device. Actually, we're not. We're not going to do that today. So with yours, Lisa, we're going to give you the question that I'll give you the other spirit box just to see how it works. Again, this one's still pretty new for me, so I want to see how it's going to react. You're going to be focused on the mansion. It's not here. So ask what happened to it, and then if we get the what, we will often get 2 or 3 numbers from the exact date of when that tragedy occurred. I just gave you a clue. It's a tragedy. You're going to be looking for Eliza's initials. Her initials are E-L-P. L lady. That'll help you remember the middle initial.
Yes.
So the reason why is because she's the second wife named Eliza from Charles, back to back. First wife named Eliza also had a maiden name that started with the letter L. You are going to be figuring out which Eliza we're dealing with. She's looking for initials and any other 3-letter words or more, and then you're going to hopefully get the catch-all from everybody else, along with the L, whatever that stands for. Yeah. Oh, and then Savannah. How can I forget Savannah? Birthday girl. You're going to be focused on her death. She's pretty open about talking about it. So 4 major questions we get answers to. How old she was, what she died from, where she's buried, which president was a pallbearer at her funeral. Do you know what a pallbearer is? That are the people that carry the coffin to the actual grave. It's an honor to be able to do that. So age, how, where, president. Easiest way to remember it. Because you have the most amount of questions. If anybody cherry picks from somebody else and you get a direct answer, obviously let us know. But I'll be doing round robins with everybody. I'm going to keep Lauren behind with me for just a minute or two so I can show her how to use that device a little bit further. Everybody else, just be mindful of the vehicles. Do not go in or around the vehicles, including in front of them. People get really funny about us wandering. So yeah, spread out. Let's do this. Get to work, everybody. You paid me to go to work.
This thing's laggy.
17.6.
Where? Right here?
5.7. We got 2.6.
Super fun to play with. Obviously, I talked about the sensitivity. The parking meters will make it longer. So in between spaces, it didn't mean anything, but the fact that it did it was very surprising. We did get an anagram of Eliza's name the first week we got it. A-U-L-C-I-A. So it did interference with you, which is okay, it's still brand new. But we still have all the letters of Eliza, pretty damn close. So, and I was excited about it, and then we didn't get anything for weeks. Like literally anything. Yeah, so never know.
We had a 45.4. 17 something.
Baseline is going to be
No.
25. Only because the little blank plate we had only goes to 25. See why we don't keep it like 45.
Hmm?
There's a E.
So that maybe could be something.
Benny EL.
Oh,
Where's the ELP?
wax.
Wax.
Lakes.
Do I see it?
Not so much. So what's
You asked, I didn't know.
We're in like no cold spots. Everything's hot as fuck. I got a fart. Is in? Same, I was right about to say that. I ripped it.
Oh my god, what if it smells fun?
What if it does? Did you grab one? Are you working on it?
Can't find it. What is it? What is it, Liza? Is that the open one? Cot. Cot?
I think.
coming out of there, Lauren?
I just
Yeah, this is the
saw
open one.
cot, but
Like
there's
COT?
Yeah, COT.
Okay, I'll take it. We don't know what it is yet, but
Yeah.
it's gonna work.
I can't open it. This is actually heavier than you think.
Oh, sorry.
This is fine.
Okay.
Grab me one? Oh, I'll grab one.
EV. Oh, EVB. Is that a V?
EVB. Does it mean anything?
EVB.
You're getting my fingers in the way. I said no.
What happened? How's it going? You gotta give me an answer.
There's nothing around you.
Girl, I don't. What? Ooh, there's you. Ooh, Elijah. Is that you? Are you here with us? Are you? Sorry.
I'm trying to get you. What do you have?
CYES.
Not on mine. It doesn't have to be in a row.
So small, I don't always follow up with you guys in real
Mhm.
time unless you see something that I like. Oh, I need to watch the Pink Mansion site a little bit more close because he saw something. But I send those to YouTube, so that way you guys can watch them on your TV. I watch them on a computer, so obviously this is gonna be much bigger than that.
Yeah.
But using it this way makes it very portable. Obviously a lot easier and a little bit less cost effective. Just
Mhm.
because I don't know what you know about FLIR, but like their handheld. Have you ever seen those? Yeah, you're looking at like $4,000 with a screen like this big.
Oh,
So
wow.
I'd rather like get the size phone that I want that can handle the software from the little attachment, and it is the same company, same
Yeah.
technology. It's just a much bigger screen, and I
Mhm.
could still upload it over to YouTube.
Yeah.
But the other, like the handheld guns, like you're supposed to be able to like handheld gun over like a motor or something like that, find leaks and that kind of thing. That's what it's intended for.
Mhm.
But yeah, the screen's super small. So it's
Yeah.
like, that just seems silly to go spend $4,000 on that guy when I can spend 500 on this guy.
Yeah, exactly.
It just makes more sense.
Mhm.
But yeah, you seemed a little bit reserved and quiet. So I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna pick this guy to hold this camera.
Yeah, I'm just trying to
Learn.
soak it all in, you know?
By the way, the sky does not have a surface. The blue dot will default to the sky every
Yeah, I
time.
see that.
So try to keep the sky out if you can whenever we're in spaces like this. It's going to be hard some places, like this one. And I usually try to tow
Yeah, it keeps picking it up wherever it
the
is.
user to also try to keep a real person in view. Much easier to find a cold spot if we have a live reference, like a hot reference, which is us. That's why I make the joke at the beginning, because we're the warmest thing out here, no matter what the temperature is.
Yeah.
It could be 105 out here, and we're probably hotter than that.
Yeah,
So,
I see.
but yeah, try to keep a person in view, at least one of us anyway. Don't film other people, just us. Yeah, you got the point. By the way, congrats on your engagement. Do you guys have a date set yet?
No, no.
Like recently, like yesterday engaged? Like when did this happen?
Oh,
He was like 6 p.m.
no. It wasn't a week. Was it a week ago?
like 6 days.
She's counting. You're not.
Yeah.
Things you'll learn, buddy. I'm on marriage number 2. Don't screw it up.
Hey, where you planning to go see it?
No. You?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so. This is heavier than you might think it is. I ain't gonna lie.
Big strong man.
No, my hand's cramping. That's what's going on. I mean, look at how I have to hold it, you know? And he said, don't film the sky. So I'm like trying to keep it pointed down, but he also said
The
film.
sky would be a lower temp, I imagine.
And he said film, have somebody in the frame, because then everything else would be cold beside the person.
I'll be in the frame.
It's just like the sky is so low, but it's like not picking anything. I haven't caught like a single thing besides the ground.
Is it recording?
Yeah, as far as I know. You're gonna hear me on YouTube.
It says 3 seconds.
But it's square. It wasn't recording the sound. I already go beep when I click that. Should I do it again here?
Just ask the guy.
What was that? But it's hard to knock at the sky.
I don't think you have to completely avoid the sky.
He was saying tried to. But then I'd be like pointing at the ground.
Okay, so there's a counter on the top. Like there's that 3 second thing on the left.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was like, I heard it go beep. Oh, dude. Numbers.
Numbers.
So I was trying to scramble the words. So I said wig, and I was like, Eliza, did you wear a wig? And then it spelled N-O.
What? You tell me she didn't wear a wig? She's talking to the ghost. Because it said wig. And then she said, Elijah, did you wear a wig? And then it says N-O. That's what she said.
Maybe she thought you were wearing a wig.
I said, girl, stop.
But I'm like, in her time, she had to have been wearing a wig.
No, that was the guys that wore wigs back then.
Oh.
Did one of the Charleses wear a wig? 3.7, 3.9.
Does she like taking baths?
Eliza, did you like taking baths?
I love that.
Oh yeah, it's just a funk stew.
I'm like, I don't think there's any
15.3.
words being spelled out.
Any other numbers?
15.3 just now.
Okay. Take a little 15. That's good.
O-E-I-U-B-O-Q-C.
Good talking a little
Yeah,
shit.
that's-
Well, don't do that. Yeah, be respectful here.
I didn't.
Not-
Just, you know, prodding him a bit.
I just asked if she took baths.
So random.
I asked it now it's working what happened in the mansion, and I randomly got the word aggressive, like within everything else.
Okay. Yeah, saying that he's being aggressive.
He is
Oh,
always.
snap.
Sassy Matt.
Oh, she got something about a wig.
Oh yeah, I was trying to scramble the letters. And I
Did you get
read
any?
wig, and I said, Eliza, did you wear a wig? And it said N-O. So,
I said the men wore wigs back then.
Yeah, and more than likely, the people in her life would have because they were all politicians. So, interesting piece. Yeah, I don't see her wearing a wig at all, just based off of like who she actually was.
But the
Just
signers
as
of the Constitution did.
right, exactly. Not to mention, I mean, her husband was also a politician. So, and her father back home in England. So,
This is
It's
true.
very common for powdered wigs.
yes, covered in lice.
Nah, that's right. That's why they powdered them, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
I want to such as your husband voice.
All right, let's wrap this one up. Let's kind of pull everybody back to the card
Sorry.
reading. There's a button on the inside
Like, here,
column
put this
at the
on
very
for a
top. You'll
second.
just tap it. It's the power button.
So you can
It'll
hear what
turn
I'm
it back to
hearing.
our night vision. Just like that. So, and other people that are coming through here, including just regular tourists, you will point your cameras to the ground. We'll split the seats and let them pass through. I will always stop talking because I always tell why I got kicked out of here, and not everybody needs to hear that. But again, you guys get the
I
point.
know.
We'll all understand the footage of the ground, like when you guys have to point your cameras downwards. Yours is super easy just because you're holding a cell phone. Nobody knows what the hell you're doing. Kind of how that one works. Let's see. So, I'm sorry, Lisa, did you hear something else that you're trying to tell me?
Well, I just heard wait, James. Oh, and then right after you said RI,
Excuse us.
Hi guys.
How you doing?
something came through. It was the only piece of that sweep, and it said RI, but it was like from a song.
Okay.
But that's all.
Interesting. So, hi guys.
Don't admit it.
Alright, so let's talk about why we're here. So this is Philadelphia Alley. So it's named after a city that helped us out of one of our many, many fires. That's exactly why we're here. Every ghost store comes down here. I was going to take this out of my routes just because every ghost store comes here, but the guy follows me around because the store has been told for over 50 years, and I'm the only store that's ever come around that can actually communicate back with them. So you'll see why, and as we kind of go through this, not to mention, everywhere we go tonight, we will be near a place of raised emotion for this particular dog. So this used to be called Dueler's Alley. This is where some of the duels used
Danger.
to occur for the city of Charleston. I say some of the duels because it was illegal in the 1700s and they had to find hiding spots. This just happened to be one of those hiding spots. It's got a much longer history, which is probably why you were here on a field trip back in the day. Again, much longer than just being Dueler's Alley. So every tour tells you the story of the dueling ghosts. So I'm going to tell you the same story with a few extra details because you're not on a campfire marshmallow kind of ghost store. We're here to actually look for ghosts. Lauren's grinning like, oh yeah, we are. So here's how this story goes. We'll let this pass through real quick. Nice and slow as we're going through. Any letters coming through at all, Lauren? No, nothing. Interesting. Hi guys. Hello. Here's how it goes. The doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. There's your RI. Okay? He moves down here and his name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. In the event that the song Brown Eyed Girl shows up on our spirit boxes while we're here, which happens often, it's not coincidence. I hear it all the time. It's part of his name. Anyway, Dr. Ladd moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a lot of money from her dead parents, and she has an attorney helping her out with all of this cash flow. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money. So he tells Amanda, get rid of the doctor. So he comes down here to Charleston to prove he's not after her money. He's going to make his own with his medical practice here in Charleston. On his way into town, he had a coachman that set him up to be robbed and killed. It's like having a really bad Uber driver in today's world. So somebody was walking by and seeing what was about to happen because he knew the coachman, and that somebody walking by was named Ralph Isaacs. Do those initials sound familiar to you, Lauren? Yeah, that's exactly why we have that device. I was getting the letters RI from regular spirit boxes, so I bought that one because it gives us specific letters. So we just happen to use it in every location now. So I've had it about half a dozen times, by the way, since I've mentioned Ralph's name in the past 2 years since I've had it, so take that for what it's worth. Back to Ralph. He tells the doc, dude, I know this guy, the coachman. He's going to try to kill you. Come with me. We're going to go to 59 Church Street. You can rent a room from them. We're going to part the seas. Oh, you're fine. Come on through. So, I got friends at 59 Church Street that you can rent a room from. You'll be safe and good to go. The doc took him up on the offer, and the two gentlemen became friends. Now, the longer the doctor stays here in Charleston, the more money he's making. He's proving his point. He's not after Amanda's money. He's making his own. she gets wind of this. She's coming down so they can be married. Dr. Ladd then became known as the Whistling Doctor. This is the reason I hate the damn story. It's a giant cliche. Every haunted city you will ever visit is going to have a cliched whistling ghost. We all have one. There is some legitimacy to this one. We're going to get to it. Why are we in Dueler's Alley when I'm telling you about a whistling doctor? Dr. Ladd and Ralph go see plays together, just like the actors that just went by. They probably came out of the actors guild ups down there. But anyway, they used to go see plays, and they couldn't sit next to each other because the doctor made more money. He got better seats. That's the hierarchy of Charleston. So on the way home from seeing Richard III, they're arguing over the new actress they just saw. Doc thought she was great. Ralph didn't. The argument turns into Ralph insulting the doctor's fiance, Amanda, back home in Rhode Island, and it got really ugly between the two of them, and they go their separate ways. But Ralph went to his friends at the newspaper and placed an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a, you're a disgrace to society kind of bullshit. Yeah, social media back then. But anyway, Doc saw the ad, rebutted with, we're going to go to Dueler's Alley, we're going to settle this. Keep in mind, this whole argument started over an actress. I just like to point that out of how dumb shit was back in the 1700s. But anyway, they came down, back to back, took the 10 paces away from each other.
Sorry. No, it did.
I was going to say, did you drop your hair tie?
Nope, it was your device.
Oh.
Everything's fine.
It's all insured, we're fine.
Okay.
So, it happens, trust me, it would be the first piece I've had to replace.
It did a slow slide. So.
That's fine. That one's actually with the battery pack on the back. I'm sure the battery took more of a beating than anything else.
Yeah, it didn't fall.
Yeah. So, where was I? Oh, the 10 paces. Put 10 paces away from each other. They turned. Doc pointed his gun in the air and shot his one shot. He did not want to kill his friend. Just needed the courage to show up to a fight, which is often what happened at a duel. In case you haven't seen Hamilton. But anyway, Ralph still has his one bullet, and he puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. Doc didn't die. He fell to the ground, and Ralph proved his point. He's pissed off, not willing to forgive his old friend. So, Doc's friends picked him up, took him home to 59 Church Street, where he died 10 days later after refusing medical treatment on November 2nd of 1786. Two things about that last statement. It is 1786. Gunshot wounds back then are a lot different than what we know of them now. Secondly, he's a doctor, which means he probably just thought he had lead poisoning and tried to bleed it out himself, but he failed. He died. Now, every tour that comes down here tells you to listen for the whistles. We have 2 cameras running plus my voice recorder. If we're going to capture a disembodied whistle while we're here, it's going to come out of one of those 3 devices for you. However, the 2 spirit boxes, well, the one that's recording for us, I can't tell you how many times I'm doing my spot check, and I was telling somebody else earlier about the videos, but every piece of media that I'm spot checking is minute 1, 5, 10, 15, 20. You guys see the intervals. I'm not looking for anything. Whatever happens, happens. I get the whistling part of a song and then the word doctor immediately after from a commercial. It happens all the time. I would say at least 5 to 7 times a month is when I capture that. Craziest thing ever. It's just him saying hello. So, if you're going to try to, well, you guys all live here, so if you guys come down here without me, because I can't take you all the way through, this is one of the spots I've been kicked out of, we're going to get to that, but turn your voice recorders on your phone on. Just remember, every local, except for you guys apparently, knows the damn story. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland Street or Queen Street, we all throw a whistle down this alley whenever we're walking around here. It's just something we do. Just kind of keep that in the back of your brain when you're listening to that recording. Here's how I got thrown out. This is the fun part. So, the alley, this is we're going to probably go a little bit further back in history, and we're probably from something you might remember from when you took the field trip. This alley didn't always go all the way through. There used to be a wall halfway between us and Cumberland Street. The reason why is this was called Cow Alley. This is where they kept all the livestock. Cows, goats, and chickens. So, they started down there and worked their way this way. That means those bricks by Queen Street are older than the ones we're standing on. Those are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There is a full handprint from a slave child down at the end of this alley, and there's fingerprint swipes and others. I used to take my groups all the way down there for a history lesson. There's nothing paranormal about that brick. That kid is not staring at that brick in the afterlife. So I take my group down there on November 26th of 2020, and they're all huddled around that brick waiting for something to happen. I already know nothing's going to happen. I'm trying to shoo them along because we're also standing outside the dining room window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. I'm trying to be respectful. I was new at this and didn't realize I was out of bounds that time of night. But the new owner came out screaming. My daughter thought it was great because she was on the floor that night. She was probably about your age, and she thought it was hysterical. Her father was getting yelled at. So we're going to let these guys pass through. Hi, guys. Oh, you're good, you're good. We moved on after that. So the next day was Thanksgiving. I don't do holidays ever because I used to work in upper management for Walmart. And on Thanksgiving, you guys fight over cows. That's what I was doing. You guys get the point. I'm not working on Thanksgiving ever again. Now, the next day after that, somebody pulled me into tourism. I didn't always do this. And I called him the day after Black Friday and told him what happened with the neighbor. He laughed at me just like my daughter did. He's like, you're not allowed to go down halfway, dude. Otherwise it's residential. Take your group somewhere else. I'm like, well, I don't have stories elsewhere. I told my group that night, I don't believe in the next story because I'm into vampires, not pirates. I would normally tell you a pirate story next. I've been kicked out of there. We'll talk about that later. But before we left, somebody with a spirit box heard the name Anne, and I didn't tell them which pirate we were going to be investigating. The female pirate, Anne Bonny. So it's kind of like, okay, maybe we'll get something.
Thank you.
I took those folks looking around the corner. I told them what I did know about pirates in Charleston. It wasn't much. I only had a day to do some quick research, and it's not a subject matter that I was too keen on. Somebody else heard the number 300 coming out of another spirit box. I wrote it down because I didn't know what it meant. I did the research. We were there November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy was November 28th of 1720. We were there on the exact 300th anniversary of her pirate trial. Now, you guys are like, oh, that's actually pretty cool. I was pissed off. Here's my problem with pirates. Pirate stories come from pirate lore. Pirate lore was written 100 years after the golden age of piracy, the days of Blackbeard. That's a problem for the guy with the master's degree in creative writing. I like facts and data. Proving a point, like everything I tell you guys, has been well researched. But what we're going to be doing next, I'm going to be giving you the story of why we're going to St. Philip's Church. I'm going to test out a new story on you guys to replace that story because it is Saturday and it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of tours out tonight. We got a little bit of time. I don't mind. I don't time anything. Let's just do it. So the apparition hopefully is going to come through out of Robert's camera, but I do want the thermal when you guys are up there, like in the exact same spot, because if we find this anomaly, I want to see how your camera reacts. We're also going to have all the spirit boxes running and so forth and so on. But we're going to go up and we're going to stop first so I can do, and I'll tell you the story while I swap out the battery and light on Robert's camera. And I know your light probably only has half the battery life, but we're going to give you a fresh new one just because of what we're going to be dealing with. Am I about right? 2 bars?
Yeah, 2 bars, you got it.
So, and what's the camera at? Should be top right. Yeah. So I carry 4 batteries with that guy because again, that one's still pretty new for me as well. But yeah, Dr. Lag will be following us around everywhere we go from here on forward. What have we gotten before we leave the space? Lisa?
Going backwards, there was death out of like death, and then
Okay.
before that, this came up again, just the children, and then when you're talking about how you got this new spirit box, or the new one, something came through right after it said, "That's nice." I'm like, yeah, that is nice.
Lots of conversational pieces. Any words being spelled out for us? Any R-I?
I have a lot of R's popping
Whoa.
up.
No R-I.
I
Words.
know I've got indirect quotes. And then
800.
too, you were telling the story, reporter came up. You were talking about the newspapers, and
Yeah.
right when you started to tell that.
We've had like journalism and things like that
Yeah.
pop up around that time too. Savannah did read that a lot.
I'm sorry, sir.
I'm sorry, sir.
This guy, excuse me.
I'm gonna pass him through. Got really warm down here all of a sudden. It was like sweating.
Yeah,
I know
that's
you
why-
gotta
Yeah.
be wearing that hoodie.
I was pulling my hair back. And
Well, this alley usually gets pretty warm anyway. Like in the dead heat of summer, like 4th of July week, like I breeze through this as quick as I can, just because everybody's drenched by the time we leave. But yeah, let's go up and around the corner. I do like. Who heard 800? Was it 800 that you
Yeah,
said?
I said it as soon as I heard
We're
it.
gonna see what else pops up with it. You guys will see why once we get up and around the corner. And then I'll be working with Robert while I tell you guys the story. If you want to continue recording, you can. I usually say just obviously keep your hands a little bit more relaxed if you want to stop recording. And then once we get up to the cemetery gates, we'll get you back recording again.
Okay.
So that's kind of how it goes with the cameras moving from here to there. That way we're not getting Blair Witch stuff. All right, let's get out of this warm alley. What do you got now?
It's got theater, the shooting. I don't know if it has anything to do with anything.
Theater of the shooting. Theater of the They left the play and then they went to a movie.
I'm sweating like crazy.
Huh?
I'm sweating. I had a whistle right before the AC being turned on.
That was the clutch on the.
Oh.
On the
Like I heard the whistle and then the thing turned on. I was like, what the?
Front and center, up here next to Robert, so I can show you guys where the grave is at. So the grave is actually, do you guys see the cross headstone in the background?
Mm-hmm.
Her grave is to the left of that and one more row back. I mean, you guys can go right up to the wrought iron gate. And then with yours, Robert, you can zoom. Right where your index finger is a button that moves horizontally, so you can push it back and forth with your index finger and zoom in and out if you want to. So yeah, I mean, you can go right up to it. And then we're going to get about 5 to 7 minutes here, so your box is definitely listening. So Matthew, where you at? So we have seen like 9s and 12s here, just a couple. Not a whole lot, so it should be pretty much flat right now. But if you get, we've seen a 9 and a 12. I think we've had that like 2 or 3 different times apart, like weeks apart. So if you get any of them, just kind of let me know. Kind of monitor it from there. Yeah, we've got a few things here. Lauren, how's your device working? Is anything coming out here at all?
I have the letters AI and A. I was thinking maybe Anna.
Just A and A is coming out? Okay.
Oh, you got the word discipline right before, or right when you're done with talking with Matthew.
Discipline. Anna, you got anything?
I had some things before.
Okay, what you got?
Do you just want to read it? 'Cause I got a lot.
I didn't bring my glasses, so I have to bring you guys.
So far it's Starbound, Don't Forget, the number 2, Extraterrestrial, James, Pursuit, That's Why, and then I forgot sometimes you know That's Why, Don't Blame Me, and Wrong.
What was the last one?
Wrong.
Wrong.
Oh.
When you're talking there, I got dark, I think it was darkness 21, something 21. And then that was the clearest. Oh. Keeps coming and going. Yeah. This day.
Jens, you got anything going on with the cameras?
Not
here.
Not really.
What if you closer? Go back next.
It's actually, where he's standing is where we caught like the 9 and 12.
Oh.
I want to say that somebody caught like some major number over here, but I think there's something electrical right in this one.
Empty streets.
I'll clear that.
Keep hearing things like the number 2.
And she had 21. Here, somebody here already gave me the number 2. Is that you?
What did you say?
Didn't you already give me the number 2 that was for earlier?
Yes, I keep hearing it again.
Like this doc that from the alley, he died at the age of 22. Like that's when he after his bullet hole. That's a young doctor.
A criminal. After that, I got big 800. It's weird. Energy. Medium.
So we're not going to be here long. You know, we only stayed for a few minutes. So last chance to either show yourself or to give us some relevant terms. You could tell us how old you were. You could tell us what year it was. We don't know the gender of your child, so if you want to give us that, that would be great.
Mid-80s.
A lot of 8s going on with her. I would consider 88 to be the late 80s.
859, 79.
59 was the address for Dr. Ladd.
Oh, 5. I just
Go about another minute on this and then we'll hop across the street. Anything going on with yours, Mason?
And I'm only getting like a 3-degree temperature difference.
Might just be some glass back there on that building. From what I see.
Almost looks just to the left of that tree right in front of me.
Yeah, so it's only looking at surface temperature, and I can see like a window back there, so if I can pick up on that glass, I'll be able to really dive into it on a larger screen and zoom in, because it should put a white outline on the window pane.
Two men.
I just can imagine the comments that I hear on a nightly basis. I think it's pretty fair. We got a good amount of footage without boring everybody to death. Let's go ahead and hit stop on those cameras. I like the two men piece that was good. So the story will be up here for a few minutes. I'm still testing more things around here just to kind of see what goes on. So yeah, let's get Robert in front, and then this way I can tell everybody the story. So here's how this one goes. Every story comes from some type of truth. If you know anything about St. Philip's, which I don't know what you locals actually know about the church, but it actually endured a pretty big fire. Yeah, there you go. Good call. Just don't drop the shit.
Yeah, right. Turn back on.
I have to come back and visit tomorrow morning. So the church, and during the fire of 1796, basically the fire actually went to the church, and they actually blew up the French Huguenot church down the road to try to create a path so it would avoid coming to this church. So somebody, a slave, actually seen that St. Philip's caught fire. So he actually climbed to the top of the roof where it still had wooden shingles, and he was literally peeling off the shingles. Yeah. So his name, according to what I've been finding so far, because I actually did some more research on him today, his name was Will Lenning. And Lenning was his master's name, so he just takes on his master's last name. Everybody called him Boney, though. So after the fire, and he actually saved the church, just a few months later, the church patrons actually all pitched in, and they purchased his freedom. So yeah, so he is said to always kind of haunt around the church. Now, here's where the next ghost story comes in. Savannah, what you got?
Earlier, when he was in like the slave area, I cried until midnight.
Oh. Slave area, like back in the Pinckney Mansion area?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. I don't know. Like, he definitely wasn't a slave of the Pinckneys, but it's not to say that he didn't know them at the time. So this would have been
30.
interesting. Yeah, I'm going to dive into that one just to see if the timelines actually add up. So here's where the actual ghost story comes into play of why we're using these cameras over here. Now granted, we are looking for Boney with those cameras, but about 100 years after this fire, there basically a young lady lived across the street. Her name was Sally. I don't know her last name, haven't been able to find that yet, but apparently she was kind of like a little bit of a daredevil and a smartass. And she's hanging out with some friends one day, and she's like probably 14, 15 years old, and her friends dared her to go put a staff on Boney's grave in the middle of the night, since she lived directly across the street. So she took them up on the offer. So she goes into the graveyard, and she thinks she hears something, so she darts back to where she thinks Boney's grave is, and basically sees something again and runs in the opposite direction, coming back towards us. So, but she forgot to leave the staff. So she goes back and she drops the staff, like puts it into the ground, and then runs away again, but can't. She thinks she sees the same thing again, and basically is frightened to death. The reason why she couldn't get away is because she staked her dress to the ground. So, the old wives' tale is basically a parable, but it does stem from the same truth of Boney was a real person. I don't know how true the Sally story is, but Sally is also said to haunt this graveyard as well. So again, we are here because the only reason I'm diving into this parable is because when I would talk about Anne Bonny, literally right next door, for the past 4 years, I would get things like the word Sally's, the Boney. I didn't even know who that was. We thought it was kind of a misconception of the word Bonnie. So again, we would get things wrapped around this particular story. So I'm here diving into it a little bit further to see if I can get anything else while we're here and trying to stir things up by talking about it. And then if we don't get much over the next couple of weeks as I sporadically tell this story, because I'm not going to tell it every night, it's just the weekends are a little bit different based on if we don't go to certain locations based off of what goes on the weekends and it being super loud all the way across the city. During the week, we do a very private, like, needs to be super quiet EVP session, but obviously we can't do that on the weekends because it's ridiculous. I got a bunch of drunkards walking around singing the Ghostbusters theme. So you guys got the point. So if you guys pan those cameras a little bit, just for about a minute or so, we will get out of this location. We won't stay here for too long. But yeah, just give me a quick pan back and forth, and I'll kind of go over the footage and kind of see if anything pops up out of it. And I love how you guys are running in opposite directions. That's hysterical.
Just got a 4,
Okay.
4
4. Savannah, what do you got?
today.
What you got? Is she hiding?
Yeah, she's hiding from the super huge roaches that she's terrified of.
You're not going to call them palmetto bugs?
Yeah.
She doesn't give them that courtesy.
I just gotta stay away from me.
Okay. Well, that's too bad. We're another minute or so. It's about the roach. Yeah. All right, Chance, let's go ahead and stop those cameras. So we are going to be walking down because we'll hit virtual buttons and you don't want to do that. Remember, your glasses probably won't fit in there. All right, I'll take this for just a second. I'm going to turn you up. You say when.
You say something, so
Blue banana. Blue banana. Blue banana. Henry, I got some folks here on the bench. It is Saturday night.
wait. Am I supposed to start? Sorry.
Yeah, start. Whenever you hear it, say it.
Okay. Dead.
Henry,
One more.
let's talk about your work. We're going to break into this easy like we always do. Let's brag about you a little bit. Tell us about your occupation, and I'll tell you what we're doing with your work today.
John.
What did you do for a living? And if someone,
No.
you want to start somewhere else?
Take it. Failed.
If somebody else is here, like Dr. Ladd, remember he can also come over this way. His code word is purple. Flag raised high. Henry, we're
The
using
light.
using the blue box tonight too. This is Mason. You can see whatever you want us to see.
Take away.
I think I see a face.
Okay? It's not going to be in that galaxy moving in the distance. It'll look like a photograph. or a
Doesn't
painting.
matter. Thinking
Oh.
about it.
You'll notice when an image comes up.
These apples are gold.
Henry, let's talk about your work. Tell us about your work. What did you do for a living? You could show us what you did. We'll understand the tools. Henry,
Oh,
Henry Timrod,
the effect.
need you to come forward and use the frequencies in these boxes to come back and talk to us.
8. Here the
I think I see
15.
the ocean or something. Like, I don't know, small, like short walls, waist high.
voices.
Henry, what's going on in this image with the water?
Let's go.
No, we're not leaving yet. Any numbers? No. Henry,
Communicate.
we're trying to.
Waiting for you.
Wow. Don't be a jerk, Henry.
Image is gone.
Yeah, they don't last long, about 15 seconds. Henry? You want to talk about something else? It's a yes, no question.
Steve.
You want to talk about your son?
Come on.
We don't normally
someone.
Who? I want to talk about your son. Can you tell us about him? You can give us his name?
Behind me.
Birth date?
The season.
Which season was he born in? Not like that holiday has changed much since your times. You guys have questions that you would ask to ask?
Steven. Watch out.
She said,
Got you.
Henry. Not giving us anything. Dr. Ladd, if you're nearby, you can give us your code word to let us know you're here.
I see like a hand.
The season.
Kind of looks like this. Pinching something.
You can take it.
Anything else in that picture?
There's like red here.
Red on
Like maybe
Jones.
like a lip or another.
There's
We were
red on the hand.
told.
No, like here's the hand, and then there's like red all up in here. And then there's like maybe like another hand with like a blue sleeve.
Henry, are you trying to show us the day you died?
I don't know if that was like getting choked or something.
Lover.
Bottles.
Henry, how old were you when you wrote that last piece? Can you give us
One.
that number? How old were you?
Here. It went
I was
on.
hoping she was going to give us a number, by the way. She's doing really well.
Leave me.
Henry, we're not leaving. They've been under for 6 minutes. They have 4 to go.
Somebody.
Henry.
Black.
Henry, let's talk about your last day. How old were you when you coughed up that blood?
It's me. Definitely.
Henry? How are we doing on your word list, on your Ouija back there?
I got nothing.
Darkness.
Is that disdain or the stain?
Disdain is what I heard.
Why did I need?
What did you just say?
Disdain, Henry. What was the stain? Tell us about the stain.
Is he on the spot?
Henry, what was the stain on the spot?
Bye, bye, bye.
We're not leaving. I'm just as
Let me speak.
I'm trying. I'm just as stubborn as you. We're
I
not
think I
leaving.
see like a window or like a painting, but no painting.
Somebody.
Thinks the painting is.
It's just like the white,
Something's
like
going
marble
on.
outline, and then it's just like whiteness. And there's like a little bit of green
She
and bluish on the
stands-
top of the painting. It looks like a marble outline and like with the ridges.
Down here.
1 minute.
You cut me off.
Okay, Henry.
17 months away. Take that.
17 months away from what, Henry?
They did this all on their own.
17 months away from what, Henry?
Don't. Who's bad?
Henry, what's the noise we're hearing right now?
I keep getting this screen.
General worry.
Henry, that wasn't an
This
ambulance.
guy.
That's a medical truck for us. It's a medical vehicle. That's loud.
I got
Moving
you.
guy.
Probably obnoxious towards you. People probably don't explain what these things are. It's a medical vehicle for us. We're going to help someone.
I don't.
There we go.
Walk out.
Trying to cure.
Henry, let's let's get back to you about your work.
For 11.
And the stain. What was the stain that you left behind?
I don't know.
Pain's
My
gone.
hands.
Emotion.
And we'll take another image from you, and we'll wrap it up.
8825.
Henry,
Pepper.
Can you give us another image? You could show us your last page.
Chosen. She needs him.
Seen it in a long, long time. 7 years.
Buggy.
Henry, we're gonna wrap it up when you say goodnight.
Rich.
Henry, can you tell us goodnight? Find the words. Use the frequencies. Find the words. Tell us goodnight, and we'll leave you alone.
Step up to the plate.
Henry,
Believe so in me.
keep coming back. So we keep getting little things at a time. Henry going once.
9.
Henry going twice.
843.
Alright, let's tap the ladies out. Mason, pull that thing off your face, man. Let's see what you got going on. Okay. Yep, you gotta turn the, there's a button right next to the volume. Can you click it in the opposite direction? It'll turn your machine off. And ladies, are you feeling okay? Like, you were just getting real, like, she's, mom and dad, we're getting a little buggy.
I think the,
It was.
the actual bugs were getting to you though.
Oh, were they like.
Bugs on you? Is that what you were moving around? Or
Said she was hearing screams.
I couldn't hear you.
She was uncomfortable.
Cameras, we can put a stop to those. And let's take a look at these images that Mason got. And we will